Welcome to Game 2 of the doubleheader between Brattleboro and Rutland. Zach Aquistapes, number 17, with his back to you on the mound. Getting set, and there's ball one. Dave Velasquez will be playing left field today in Game 2 for Brattleboro. He started the first game, had 3 base hits, and he played center field in that ball game. And I got to do the lineup player by player because I didn't get Brattleboro's lineup because between games I snuck out and got something cold to drink. So Aquistapes, he's due for a good outing. He's had a pattern this year. A good game, a bad game. A good game, a bad game. He's on a good game cycle. And that's going to be a little river down to McLaughlin on the third baseline, and they'll get the speedy Vasquez out on a close play at first. Nice job by McLaughlin. So obviously you know that McLaughlin is starting at third base. So Franklin up, and I'm doing this on the fly. That's why it's going to take me a little bit to get the lineup. But Franklin had 3 base hits in the first ball game also, and a couple RBIs. There's an 8-6 Rutland win in the first game here, and Rob Turner, going all 7 innings, had the bases loaded in the 7th, was able to wheel his way out of it. And that pitched a little bit too far inside. Had good velocity, but was inside, makes it a 2-ball, no-strike count. And for Rutland, I can tell you that Anthony LaPlaca, who was the DH in the first game, is the catcher here in the second ball game. And that's a high chopper. Sharon barehands it, makes the throw, and safe. Nice speed by Franklin down the line. He'll be safe on an infield hit. And going back to the first ball game, his last 4 at-bats, he's had 4 consecutive hits. And Scooter Scott, who was the pitcher in the first game. And I'll tell you, that's a baseball name, Scooter Scott. He did a nice job in that first ball game. It's very warm today, it's very humid. He worked himself in and out of jams. And there's that knuckle curveball by Aquistapes for a strike. There's 1 out and 1 on. And again, if you missed the first ball game, that slow, high chopping bouncer. Here goes the runner. LaPlaca with the throw down to Parker, and the runner's going to be safe. Franklin didn't even have to slide. He just goes in with a stolen base. But the infield here is just baked dry from the heat and the sun. It's made for some real hard situations like that where the ball will hit and just bounce up near a mile, and that's going to be a great stop on the pitch low and inside, and we'll go to, I believe, a 2-1 count now. Runner at second, 1 down. We're in game number 2, scheduled for 7 innings. There is a mercy rule, but with these 2 teams, these are good quality teams. I doubt we'll see that come into play here today. And that'll be ball 3. So Aquistapes nibbling right now, and I think that was Coach Brewer from the dugout. Could be maybe not liking the sequencing of pitches here or what's being thrown. Been a lot of soft stuff right now. Aquistapes going to do a landscaping out there on the rubber. I can't tell you who the on-deck hitter is because I have to wait until they all come up. But Scott's at the plate right now. But that tickled the outside corner for a strike. You're watching PEGTV, Channel 15, Public Access Television, bringing you American Legion Post 31 baseball action. Another season on Channel 15. And boy, good pitch, good swing. 2 strikes, he stayed alive. And Aquistapes throwing that fastball to the outside part of the plate. And we'll just do it again. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Joe Toronto getting a start in left field for Rutland. Rob Dorian's in center. And Chad Ryan out in right field getting a start for Post 31. And that looks to be Gapper, or no, Ryan seems to have it under control, and Chad Ryan will make the catch. Runner's going to try to go to third, and he's going to be allowed to score. Yeah, and you can see McLaughlin upset with himself, trying to apply the tag before he made the catch. So it's 1-0 Brattleboro with the lead. 2 outs and a run in and an error. And Jeff Savage up, and they just announced he's going to be the pitcher here for the second game. Now, he bats left-handed. I can only assume he's going to hit or throw left-handed, which isn't always the case. So they made the catch for the second out. The throw to third was mishandled by McLaughlin and went out of play and not allowed to run to score. It was a decent throw. Oh, nice pitch. That'll make it a 1-1 count. Quistapace, a big guy. I got to guess 6'4", 6'3". Pretty intimidating standing on the top of the mound. But has a tendency to be a nibbler and get down in a count. And when you're down in a count, the hitter will sit on the fastball, and that takes away a lot of its effectiveness. I didn't set the infield. McLaughlin's at third. Matt Sharon down there at shortstop. Second base is Chris Parker, and Garrett Brewer is at first. And boy, he had him turning away from that breaking ball, but it came in high, and it goes to a 2-2 count. This is the pivotal pitch that gets Quistapace in trouble right here. If he tries to nibble or if he just goes right at him with the fastball. And that looks to be playable. Matt Sharon down on the ball. Will handle it. Toss to first, and we'll go to the bottom half of the first inning. 1-0 Brattleboro with the lead. And there's a strike from Savage to Dorian. It'll be Rob Dorian leading things off here for Rutland, and then Matt Sharon on deck. And Rutland down 1-0 to Brattleboro. And they'll be fouled off. Good velocity on that pitch there from Jeff Savage. And yeah, he is throwing left-handed. So I'll try to piece together. I can see that's Franklin over at first base because, again, I didn't get the lineup. So I'll work on it. But I can tell you the outfield's got. Let me get this pitch in first. With the count 0-2. That's got a chance to drop in. It'll be a base hit, and you see Scooter Scott pick the ball up, and there's a leadoff single for Rob Dorian. Now in the first game, Dorian also, he had 2 hits, 2 singles in the first game, so he's got 3 hits so far in his doubleheader. Now Matt Sharon up, he had a big game also in that first part of the doubleheader, which was won by Rutland 8-6. A good game, exciting game. On a warm day here at St. Peter's Field. So from the stretch for the first time today, Savage will be a little bit high. Again, nice pop on the ball, just a little bit high. And Franklin will hold the runner on at first base, Dorian. And you see the lefty's got the advantage as he's looking right over there at the base runner, and that's going to be out of play, uncatchable. Yeah, it's going to land on the other side of the fence area down the first baseline. So it looks like Emerson is at second base for Brattleboro. Martell is at short. As I'm cutting the pieces together here. Oh, great pitch. That'll make it a 1-2 count. And third base, I just picked up a number. That's Wagner over there, number 11. So almost the same, if not the same infield as we saw in the first game. And that one just missed. Had a nice bend to it, but just missed, and it's a 2-2 count now. And oh, I can't see the catcher's number. Looks like McFadden, though. But I can tell when he comes to the plate, they'll announce the catcher. So the runner on first, that's going to be slapped down to the first base side. They're going to take the lead runner out. There's one, and that's what they'll get. Just a 1 out, but it's the lead runner at second. And that's a nice play over there by Franklin at first base. So 1 down on that force out. And the fielder's choice. Now McLaughlin up. And again, they're at the number 3 spot in the order, and it'll be LaPlaca, I believe, batting in the 4 spot at the cleanup position if they get that far in the lineup. And that's going to squirt through the 5-hole of the catcher. And yeah, he'll go down standing up, won't draw the throw, and you can see Sharon will take the turn. So that puts a runner at second base now. And at first it looked like the catcher had it smothered, and then the ball kind of popped out the other side and appeared, and Sharon was down to second base, didn't draw the throw. So Savage with the kick and the fire, and that's a good stop. Nice job stopping that ball behind the plate. And again, I can only speculate that that's McFadden. I can't see his jersey number, obviously, but I'll catch up to the bookwork as we go through the innings here. And Brattleboro, don't forget, a run in that first inning. Oh, that's right down the pipe for a strike. Brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, this is a second half of a doubleheader on Channel 15 Sports. Scheduled for 7. Hopefully that's as far as we'll go this afternoon. And that's going to be just over the reach of the second baseman. And she's Sharon at third had to hold up, make sure it wasn't going to be caught because it was a close play. And Emerson timed his jump well. Now Anthony LaPlaca, the catcher. And LaPlaca, like I said, he's been having a hot bat lately. He's back in the hitting groove. The game we had here the other night against Bellows Falls, he had 2 doubles and a grand slam home run over the left field wall. That kind of inning that a player only can dream about usually. So with first and third, we'll see if they'll send the runner McLaughlin to second on a steal. High fastball, a little bit out of the strike zone, ball 1. McLaughlin, very conservative lead down there at first. He's being held on by Franklin defensively. And again, good arms in the outfield if they do get a base hit through here, or if deep enough fly ball where they might try to score the runner. Oh, that's going to be on a rope, and that's going to go over the head and going to bounce to the wall. You see 1 run in. They're waving McLaughlin in around third base. No, putting the brakes on. So we're going to be tied at 1, and there's LaPlaca with yet another double. And like I said, he's been seeing the ball and hitting the ball very well. If you go back to the Bellows Falls game on Thursday, he's had 3 doubles in 2 games, the last 2 games here at St. Peter's Field. Now the pitcher, Zach Aquistapace up with Chris Parker on deck. Aquistapace got to play defensively first base in the 7th inning of the first game. Now he's the pitcher here, of course, in his second game. There's a strike. And on that outside corner, a good location right there by Savage. Again, the website for Channel 15 is www.pegtv.com, and that came in a little bit too close, and that'll be ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Second and third with that 1 out for post 31. They've matched the 1-run Brattleboro picked up in the top half of the first. And caught the plate, but low. Aquistapace, like I said, a big guy. He's one of those guys that's an all-or-nothing guy when he catches the ball. He's with the bat at the plate. If he can catch the ball. And Savage will miss high again and go to 3 balls, 1 strike. Well, see if he gets the green light, if it's something hittable here. And he'll be inside, and he'll load the bases up on the walk. Chris Parker up now with Chad Ryan on deck, and I'm still just catching up on my bookwork. And you can call Channel 15 at 747-0151 and get the schedule information. Fouled off the fist into the screen for a strike. Or you can pick up Sam's Good News, and it has all 3 channels, 15, Channel 20, and Channel 21 in there. It has a weekly schedule. Actually, I think it's the 2 weekly schedule. It gives you 2 weeks at a time on the schedule. So you can pick up Sam's Good News and catch the schedule that way also for PEGTV. Oh, good stop again behind the plate, digging that one out of the dirt. Don't forget, bases are clogged right now. Nowhere to put them. It's a 1-1 count to Parker. Jeff Savage taking the mound here for Brattleboro post 5. Oh, and again, another good stop. Pitches are just short hopping right now, and boy, catcher's staying very busy here in the first inning. And again, the arms in the outfield, very good, very strong. We could have an interesting play at the plate here, which is always a cool thing to watch at any level baseball game. Now it's going to be toward the hole at second and through the gap. That's going to be an RBI for Parker. There's 1 run coming in. The second run coming in on the trail side, and he's going to be out. And I'll tell you, what happened there was LaPlaca got caught between thinking about sliding and actually sliding, and that cost him the run. He was kind of tiptoeing there, and he went into a half slide, half crouch. Now Chad Ryan with Garrett Brewer on deck. And this will be the 7th batter faced here by Savage in the first inning. And that's going to be a base hit. Nice job of that inside-outside swing. And it wasn't hit far enough to score a run. They hold the runners up. So Rutland making contact here off from Savage. And that will bring a visit to the mound from Brattleboro's head coach. And that's where we'll pick it up on the other side of the fade. So, like I said, Garrett Brewer up now, and he had 2 doubles in the first ball game. There are 2 down, though, and the base is reloaded. And boy, if he can get that pitch to work the rest of the afternoon, he'll be in good shape. 2-1 Rutland. They had a runner thrown out trying to score the 3rd run at the plate for the 2nd out of the inning. And oh boy, that's the Achilles heel of Brewer right there, and it's the breaking ball. And I can hear his dad down there who coaches third base with some instructions for him on that pitch. So 0-2 count, and Savage trying to minimize the damage here and leave the bases loaded with just the 2 runs in. Got him with the fastball. Big strikeout. Ends the inning. 2 runs do come across, but it's going to be 2-1 Rutland as we go to the top of the 2nd. Pete Wagner, the 2nd lefty in the batting order here, is a face of Quistapes, whose team's given him a 2-1 lead here going into the top of the 2nd. I'll tell you, with the 2 wins over Chester yesterday and then the win in the first game of the doubleheader here, Post 31 almost locking themselves into one of the 4 playoff spots. And that's going to be pulled over to Parker, and he's pretty automatic, and he'll pick it up, fire to first, and have the first out on a 4-3 ground out. And of course, Chris Parker was a guest on Sports Beat, a show on Channel 15. Jordan Emerson up now. And I'm just catching up in my book. But Chris was an excellent guest, very interesting guy, funny guy, insightful. I'd like to thank him for taking the time to be a guest on Sports Beat. And you can watch that Monday nights at 4:30, Tuesday nights at 5:30, and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. So Quistapes with a 1 ball, no strike count to Emerson. And I'm just putting the order together now for Post 5 of Brattleboro. And he hit him. Like I say, Quistapes gets into trouble with walks, but he's actually been prone to hit a couple batters a game. Joel Martell up now with a runner on and 1 down. Post 31 turned 2 double plays in that first ball game, and they've done that all season long. You see the thrower and the runner back safe. Well, they have the great defensive corner with Parker and Sharon anchoring the middle, 1 shortstop, 1 second base, and then the big target over there at first and Brewer. So from the stretch, Quistapes will fire, and good pitch. That's a good pitch. Again, very sparse crowd here. You guys got to get out here and support this Legion team. I mean, please do keep watching Channel 15, but it's nothing like catching a game live. That's going to be a base hit through the hole at short, and there's Toronto coming in. Joe will pick it up as he gets the start over there in his 2nd game in left field. Okay. Nate Boudreau is the catcher. That's who I didn't have before. It's not McFadden, it's Boudreau. That will be a ball. So now we have the mystery guy behind the plate. Because, like I told you, I didn't get the lineup. That's going to be high for a ball. Quistapes seems to lose concentration with runners on base. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. But he's got to get it mentally where he can just, you can't forget the runners obviously, but you got to really not forget the guy at the plate because he's gone to a 2 ball, no strike count. And again, that first score surprised me, especially with Turner pitching the first game for Rutland. 8-6, Rutland winning. And nice job. Runner got back. Parker kept the ball from going in the outfield. And we'll go back now and wait for the pitch to Boudreaux. That outfield has Dorian in it, Trono, and Chad Ryan. Good outfield. And there's a good pitch. He needed that one. He didn't want to go 3-0 because now he can, if he doesn't want to commit to that fastball in a 2-1 count, he can still try to throw the off-speed stuff. And boy, the board had it at 2-1, but that must have been 3-1. They've been slacking on the board in this doubleheader. So we got the bases loaded for Corey Chamberlain. Now he can pitch also. Chamberlain can. So he's got the table set. They got the making of a big inning. Bases loaded, one down. They're at the number 9 spot, which means they'll be coming around the top of the order, which would be Dave Velasquez. And not the kind of guy you want to see up there, Velasquez. He had blinding speed. So the third left-handed hitter in the order to face Equistapace. And there's a strike. And again, you can usually tell by the second, third inning if Zach's going to have it together. Now, in that first ball game, Turner went all 7 innings. That's going to be high for a ball. But Chad Ryan did get up and throw a couple different times when it looked iffy in the bullpen. So I would assume Ryan would still be available here for the second game. You know, he did throw yesterday down in Chester a little bit. Oh, and that's way outside. Again, he's getting behind in the count, which is going to leave him sitting on that fastball when he offers it up. But the bases are juiced. Rutland trailed 1-0 at the end of a half inning. They're able to come back and get a couple. They had an opportunity really for a big inning and kind of missed it. And Equistapace all struggling. We'll go to 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 pitch away from walking in the tying run. And Rutland taking the first game, and he's going to walk in the run. And no matter how good your defense is, they can't do anything about that. They'll leave the bases loaded for Dave Velasquez up. He grounded out to the third baseman, McLaughlin. And Will Franklin on deck. So the bases still loaded, and still only the 1 out. We've had a hit batter, a couple walks, and a single. And boy, if he's got a double play in his back pocket, first of all, it'd be amazing to double up Velasquez. And they got him in that leadoff spot because he's a contact. He makes contact. You know, he works the strike zone, but he makes contact. So I can't see him looking at strike 3 anywhere here. 1-1 to count, but I'll tell you what, they are urging them on, Equistapace from the stands. They want them, everybody wants them to do well. And there's going to be 1, and nope, it's going to be an error, and that's going to allow the third run to come in. And yeah, I mean, that just puts a lot of pressure on your defense when you load the bases like that. I mean, there was an error, but 2 runs will come in. And it stays at first and third. Now Will Franklin up, and he becomes the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th hitter to come to the plate here as Brattleboro has come back to take a 4-2 lead over Rutland. And this is kind of how the first game went for the first couple innings. There's the bunt. Oh yeah, they'll never get him at home. They'll never get him at first. And, you know, again, I go back, that's great execution and all that, but it all happens when you load the base. When you don't give your defense the chance and you load the bases up, that gives the other team a chance to use all this type of strategy. And Coach Brewer wants everybody in for a meeting. Scooter Scott up. He'll be the 8th hitter to come to the plate here, and it's 4 runs in already. 5-2 Brattleboro. They had a 4-2 lead in the first ball game and couldn't hold it. Ended up losing 8-6. But Quistape's on the bubble here early in this contest. And boy, that just missed. I guess if anything, it was a little bit too far inside. So first and second, and just the one out here. And there's a strike. Remember, that was the first mound meeting with a coach. So the next time the coach comes out this inning, that'd be it for Quistape. Oh, see. The pitch selection is very questionable. He hasn't really gotten control of any pitch yet, and I don't know about throwing that. Lollipop stuff here, down 2-1 in the count now. Establish a pitch that you can throw for a strike, and if they make contact with it, at least give your defense a chance to make a play. That was a borderline call, and it goes to 3 balls, 1 strike. Nobody up and throwing yet in the Rutland bullpen. And that seems to be playable. Chad Ryan way in will make the catch for the second out. Came a long way on a high lazy fly ball for the second out. Now the 9th batter to come to the plate here in the second is the pitcher, Jeff Savage. He grounded out to Matt Sharon in his only plate appearance. So we have seen 2 walks, an error, a bunt, a base hit, and 4 runs put on the board to this point. So first and second, and you got to take advantage of the opportunities presented to you. Now I thought Rutland didn't really do that in the first inning. This is really slow. It rolls to Parker to first, and that's going to be the inning. But Brattleboro reestablishing the lead at 5-2 as we go to the bottom of the second. So Jeff Savage been staked to a 3-run lead at 5-2. I think I got the score wrong at the end of the first inning. 9th batter in the order, Joe Trono leading off here, the left fielder in the second inning. Joe, good hitter at the plate, right-handed hitter. Trying to get things started here offensively for Rutland in the bottom of the second, and that one will get away from Savage and float in high and be a ball. Again, American Legion Post 31 has a season finale, regular season home game, the 25th of July, 5:30 start time, and you can still make that right here. And then hopefully you'll be off to the playoffs for them. They've got 3 wins in a row over some real tough opponents, 2 over Chester, and now the first game here against Brattleboro. And this one's far from over. We're only in the second, scheduled for 7. There is a mercy rule that I don't think will come into play. And of course, there's always that dirty word, extra innings. Actually, that's a compound word, I guess. Toronto will pull that to short, and nice stab on the backhand, and a throw to first, they'll have him. So Martell will have a 6-3 ground out. Chalked up. And now I'll bring the top of the order, Rob Dorian, up, and he had a single his first time up. Again, he's got 4 hits at this point in this doubleheader. 3 in the first game, and of course a single here in this second game. And you watch the lefty Savage with that breaking ball drop right in there for a strike. So in a 5-2 game, Rutland with 1 down, nobody on. They're at the top of the order. And boy, just got a piece of it for a foul. I was badly fooled on that curveball, and it'll be 0-2 the count. The on-deck hitter will be Matt Sharon. He's also at the shortstop, and he reached on a fielder's choice and scored back in the first inning. And Savage giving up those 2 runs in the first inning. Could have been a lot worse damage. That'll bounce to the backstop for a ball. Remember, Rutland had a runner thrown out at home plate trying to stretch and score a run, and then they left the bases loaded on a strikeout at the plate. So a 1-2 count and the pitch. That's going to be the second base. Shot, he'll run over and scoop it up, and nice job. Emerson waited for his first baseman, Franklin, to get over in position to make the catch. And that's 2 down, 2 up, 2 down, and that'll bring up Matt Sharon. And that will put Jeff McLaughlin in the on-deck circle for Rutland Post 31. So Matt Sharon with nobody on that right side of the box will make contact, and he'll go through the shortstop, and Matt Sharon will have yet another base hit. You see him pull up there at first base, so always a threat to run. No matter what the situation is, he'll be at first with McLaughlin up. McLaughlin had a base hit and scored the second post-31 run in the first inning. So McLaughlin and Sharon, the combination out there right now. Now also force the pitcher, Savage, to go back to the stretch. Some pitchers are okay with it, some are more comfortable from the windup. And I always agreed if you're more comfortable from the stretch, you'd start every inning that way, regardless if anybody's on base or not. And since he didn't, I have seen pitchers come out and pitch from the stretch for no reason, with nobody on base. That's going to be foul down the first baseline. Franklin will come back. Nice catch. I'll end the inning, and it'll stay 5-2 Brattleboro with the lead. Zach Equistapace will be looking at Pete Wagner due up. He grounded out to Chris Parker at second base as we go to the top of the third. And Equistapace looking for an easier ride here in this inning. Will miss with a ball down and away for a 1-0 count. 1 ball, no strikes. Equistapace gave up 1 in the first and 4 runs in the second. Looking to rebound here, find a rhythm. And that's going to be a base hit. Be picked up by Chad Ryan, and a nice stroke. Base hit right there for the leadoff hitter here in the top of the third for Brattleboro, who dropped the first game of a doubleheader. 8-6. Now Jordan Emerson up. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning and eventually came around to score. So back to the stretch we go with Equistapace, and again, breaking ball came in. Fooled the hitter a little bit. He ducked, but the ball was high and called ball 1. And I can tell you, there's not a lot of people here, but who is here? They're giving all kinds of words of inspiration to Equistapace. He'll leaving the count up on that foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Got soccer season coming up. Fall sports already coming up. I mean, we're almost to August. Oh, nice pitch. That will get the call, and it'll be a 1-2 count. Of course, I'll be back up there covering Laurie McClellan and Kirk Abrahamson's Rutland Raiders at Alumni Field for soccer. Trying to get him to go up out of the strike zone. Good idea. Just missed a little high. It'll be a 2-2 count. Going to have Randy Chadburns, Mill River women's team. Kevin Ratty's Mill River boys squad. So a lot of soccer coming up. And field hockey action from Rutland High School. As long as I still get the staging. A lot of politics there. Built a privately funded little staging with a roof. I used it for a couple years, and somebody up there thought it'd be a good idea to throw it away on me. So it really depends on if I have a place to shoot from. Toronto will get in front of the ball and knock it down. So another single will put runners at first and second. So back-to-back singles will bring up Joel Martell, who had a single and scored in the second inning. In post 31, trying to think of whose arms. I already said Chad Ryan was warming up. There's a bunt attempt that was fouled off for a strike. They're down 3, 5-2, but trouble brewing here with nobody down. Runners at first and second. Matt Sharon pitched a complete game just a couple days ago, so I wouldn't think Matt would be available. Pamakala pitched a lot yesterday. I don't think he would be available. But they've got everybody in for bunt depth here at the corners. Everybody charging. And they'll be fouled back out play. Now what they did, that's called a slap play in softballs. He showed bunt when the ball started to pitch come to him. He took the bat from the bunt position and brought it back to full swing to slap at the ball. Well, 0-2 doesn't mean he isn't going to still bunt. It's just unlikely. And boy, he could have taken one for the team there. That was inside and tight, makes it a 1-2 count. Quistapase has hit one batter already this afternoon. I'd come right back with the heater. Foul ball on the changeup. And that will remain at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, Dorian, Trono, and Ryan is the outfield here for game 2. LaPlaca is back at the catcher spot after Chris Parker did a nice job. And boy, what a bad hop that took over McLaughlin. That's part of that hard field. And then Trono overruns the ball. That'll be an error out in the outfield, and that will score the 6th run. And that'll also send Martell down to second base. And I'll tell you what, it's when you win the first game of a doubleheader against a big rival, big opponent, it's not unusual, as Nate Boudreau comes up now. It's not unusual to experience a big letdown in the second part of a doubleheader. I can't explain why, but right now you're seeing some mistakes being made by Post 31, and it's cost him. It's now 6-2, nobody out, runners at second and third. As that is 3 singles and an error here to the first 3 hitters of the 3rd inning to Brattleboro. And boy, I tell you what, that's a pretty good shot. That's going to be to the wall, and I think that's going to clean up the bases. Nope, they're going to hold them up out there. So Boudreau with a big shot to the wall, and that'll keep this plugging along now as Emerson scores. Now bring up Corey Chamberlain. So they have a 7-2 lead now, Brattleboro does. So Quistapase is going to talk to LaPlaca. And again, nobody in the bullpen throwing, but in the first game they had Chad Ryan throwing in the bullpen. So Chamberlain coming up, he walked and scored back in the second. As Brattleboro has scored at least 1 run in each of the first 3 innings. Obviously, it's been a lot more than that, but and they have a 7-2 lead right now over Rutland. That was a good fastball. That was fouled off into the screen for strike 1. Yeah, talking about fall sports, there's also the really big show 11, the first Saturday in November at the Paramount Theater. It's a fundraiser for the United Way of Rutland County, and it's always worth going down and watching. It's a talent show, basically. Singing, dancing, comedy, all kinds of cool stuff. And that's going to be a fall ball. But get your tickets now at the Paramount Theater box office for the really big show 11. And if they sell out and you can't get a ticket, you can see it on Channel 15 Public Access Television. Unless I get fired, I plan on being there running the camera. That's going to be fouled straight back. That's a good pitch. So an 0-2 count. And it's been a long inning for Quistapase. He went through 9 batters in the second. He's on his 5th hitter right here, and he's got nobody down. Strikes him out. Nice pitch. How can you watch that pitch go by with 2 strikes? And now bring up Dave Velasquez, who grounded out to McLaughlin at third and reached on an error in the second. So Velasquez up with 1 out and 2 on. A couple runs in already. And Brattleboro looking to get a split here on the road with Rutland. Rutland yesterday getting 2 wins down in Chester, winning on the road earlier this week in Hartford, and defeating Bellows Falls here. And they're saying he did not hold up, that he went and swung, and that'll make it an 0-2 count. As he's looking for that second out here without getting the run, giving up another run. Wow. I don't have a clue where that pitch missed. And that's all. That was deserving of a long look in from Quistapase. Been a rough afternoon for him, and that was a good looking pitch. He tried to fool him with a little change up there and missed, and the ball got in the dirt, and now be 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Brattleboro coming back with some kick here in the second game. 7 runs already as we're through not quite 3 innings for Brattleboro offensively. Quist Pace will run it. No, they say it did brush him. Must have hit the shirt tag on the neck. As Velasquez will go down to first, I'll bring up Will Franklin. Franklin's 2 for 2 today. He's had a single and a bunt single. So Franklin with the table set, bases loaded, juiced. The bases are juiced, and the Quist Pace again in trouble here in the third. Oh, must have been low. Caught the plate, but low. Puts him down in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. Franklin had 4 consecutive hits going back to the first game here, and he's going to find himself in charge here at 2 balls, no strikes. Again, game time temperature of game 1 was 89, well over 90 right now. And he'll fall that back, and that'll be a strike on the foul ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. LaPlaca is your catcher, Anthony LaPlaca. Garrett Brewer is at first. Chris Parker is at second. Matt Sharon's at short. Jeff McLaughlin is at third. And everybody is in on the infield trying to cut down some runs here. Could be a double play. Oh, nice pickup. They're going to go home. Oh, and they couldn't. No, I got to tell you, it's not going to be their day. It's Matt Sharon, who's money in the bank. Usually he'll take his time and set himself. He just flipped it and threw the ball away. And another run comes in, and that'll be an error on the throw. He had plenty of time. Scooter Scott up now, the center fielder. You know, he had more time than he realized. He made a great stab with a ground ball. And he could have taken his time and thrown a strike, because it's not a tag play, man. It was just a force out. He didn't have to tag anybody, so they had plenty of time. And that could be out of here. That could be out of here. It's out of here. Grand slam, home run for Scooter Scott. Well, that will clean the bases off. And that's a blast and a half well over the left field wall. And Scooter Scott for Brattleboro with a little frosting on the cake here in the third inning. He'll be greeted by all the Post 5 teams members right there. Goes 12-2. And believe me, that was a shot. Home run over the left field wall. And that'll bring up the 9th batter for the 2nd consecutive inning in a row. 9 hitters faced. It'll be Jeff Savage, and it actually is going to have to be 10 because there's only 1 down and the base is clear. There's only a double play with only 1 guy at home plate. And that's going to be a foul ball over in your coach's corner. 12-2. Walks, hit batters, errors, and grand slams. And I don't think this is going to be in play. No, and you can see the coach's corner over there. I'll get moved. There's Doc LaPlaca over there. You can see him. He could have made the play, and he got out of the way of it. So after a big 8-6 win in the first game against Brattleboro, just an emotional letdown. A lot of defensive lapses here by Post 31. Whoa. Quist Pace again looking in. Those are borderline pitches, to say the least. Don't adjust your set. It is 12-2 Brattleboro in the third. That's a jam job. He jammed him in there and went right off the fist fall. And again, this is Savage. He's the 9th hitter to come to the plate for the 2nd consecutive inning in a row. And it's going to go deeper here. And I'll tell you what, Rutland, when they get to the plate, they've got to pick up some runs. You can say, oh, it's early, oh, it's this and that. Another base hit up the middle, and that'll put a runner. There's Savage. He'll be at first base. Now it's just a matter of how long does Coach Shirley want to go with the Quist Pace. And he's standing at the top of the retaining wall. Here comes Coach Shirley. And I believe that's going to be the afternoon for Mr. Quist Pace. Yeah, we'll come back, and it'll be Chad Ryan of Mill River on the mound for Rutland. So they brought Ryan in from right field to pitch, and they brought John Holtman, who started in right field in the first game. He's now back at his normal position in right field, and Jeff Savage is up. I didn't think it'd be possible to be mercy run, like because of the quality of each opponent here. Brattleboro and Rutland, good teams, but right now Brattleboro up by 10, and if Rutland still trails after 5 innings because they're the home team, they get the bat last, that would be the game. 10-run lead after 5. So, like I started to say, Rutland, if they're going to make a comeback down this much and looking this lackadaisical in the field and struggling from the mound, because that's ball 2 from Ryan, you really can't wait around. You've got to start your comeback in the bottom of the 3rd, either with 2-3 runs or 4 or 5, but just start putting runs on the board. Just like in basketball, when you talk about, oh, you need a defensive stop. Well, that's what they need right here. 1 on, 1 out. 7 runs in. Don't allow any more runs this inning. Next inning, get a defensive stop. Come up with another goose egg. Then keep plugging away with 1, 2, 3 runs an inning. But Ryan, I wouldn't think it'd take too long to loosen up today. 90 degrees. And the fact that Chad Ryan threw a little bit yesterday down in Chester, but he's at 3 balls, 1 strike to Jeff Savage, and he will walk him and help put runners at 1st and 2nd. Actually, yeah, that was Pete Wagner at the plate. I made the mistake of not looking at my book, but listening to the PA announcer. Now it's Emerson up. So 1st and 2nd, 1 down. So you post 31 can reach in and grab one of those double plays out of their bag. Dorian calling for it, and he does have it. He's saying, I got it. And Rob Dorian will make the catch for the 2nd out. And it's been a long, hot inning for those fielders and that guy right there with the catcher's gear on. Now Martell up as we're in the 3rd. That's 9, 10, 11. This is the 12th batter to come to the plate here in this inning. 7 runs in, 12-2 Brattleboro, and that's going to be down to Matt Sharon. He'll pick it up, take the force out at 3rd. And that's the inning, but a lot of damage done. Rutland's got to get the bats cooking here as they're down 12-2 on their home field going to the bottom of the 3rd. Savage will miss with that first pitch, and we get things going here with Anthony LaPlaque up. He's had a double and drove in a couple of runs for post 31. They're down 10 at 12-2, and they'll be outside for ball 2. Savage been staked to a 10-run lead right now, and I always found that watching games, you get double-digit leads, you pitch a lot freer and easier. That is chopped and looks to be catchable, yeah, and the outfield. Nice job by Scooter. That's the guy right there, Scooter Scott, 24, hit the grand slam home run in the top of this inning, and he'll make the catch for the 1st out. He was the pitcher of record for Brattleboro in the 1st ball game. So a fly out to center field. And now Holtman will be plugged into Aquistapace's spot. That's what it's so John Holtman up for the first time as it's lefty against lefty right now. So Savage with 1 out, nobody on. And caught the plate but low. Had a nice location on the ball, just didn't get the call. It'll be 1 ball, no strikes. We're in the bottom of the 3rd and post 31, needing to find some runs right now. Need some base runners. And that could be playable. They're making a chase at it, and it's going to be out of everybody's reach. Good effort by the catcher down there. That's Boudreaux who made the chase after the ball, and see him toss it back in. So everybody will just get reset, and it'll be a foul ball strike, and we'll be an 0-1 in the count. And again, it's a hot day. And the players playing double headers in this temperature. Rutland did a good thing, smart thing. They had Chris Parker catch the 1st ball game. He's at 2nd base defensively now. Then Anthony LaPlaque got the 1st game off. He's catching the 2nd game. That's tough duty catching both ball games. And same thing with Brattleboro. They started Boudreaux here in the 2nd game and had McFadden catch the 1st game. They'll be in the dirt for a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. And Holtman came on to play right field when they took Chad Ryan, the starting right fielder, out and had to put him on the mound and replace Aquistapace, who granted was struggling but didn't get a lot of help defensively. And that's going to be 1-3 ground out as a little comebacker to Savage, and he'll go over to 1st base, and that'll be the 2nd out of the inning. And now it is Chris Parker who's up. He had a single. And again, he caught the first game. He's at second defensively, and he's up there with 2 down and nobody on right now for Rutland. And that had a lot of bend in it as he swung through it, and it'll be a strike. The ball will be retrieved by the catcher. It wasn't fouled, it was just mishandled, and it'll be an 0-1 count. And the on-deck hitter for Rutland, if they can extend it one more time, will be Chad Ryan, who's now the pitcher. And again, not a lot of people stuck around from the first to second game, but it's very, very quiet over there in the bleachers section right now. 12-2 Brattleboro. They scored 1 in the first, 4 in the second, and then 7 in the third. And right now they got the look of a split on their hands. They lost the first game 8-6 to Rutland. That was a complete 7-game inning pitch game by Rob Turner. And now it goes to 0-2 the count. And that's going to be, I believe, out of even Franklin's reach, who's been very good defensively over there, and it will be back in a tree area along the first base foul line. And defensively, you still have the outfield of Velasquez, Scott, and Chamberlain for Brattleboro, and then third base is Wagner. Martell is short. Emerson is at second. Franklin is at first. Boudreaux is behind the dish, and Savage on the mound. And that came up shy and short hopped and caught by the catcher, and it'll be a ball. I tell you, it makes a whole big difference after surrendering 7 runs in the top half of this inning. If they get shut down here, and it's looking like they're going to be dropping in. Yep, 3 Brattleboro players surrounding it, but just hitting the right spot, the right place. Nobody could get to it, and Parker will be on at first base now. And boy, it's almost time to become adventurous and see if they can move people up on the bases and try to generate some buzz, a little energy. And send them on a steal. Chad Ryan up. He had a single. As remember, post 31 in the first inning had the bases loaded and only managed 2 runs. So Chad Ryan swinging away, and that's got a chance to drop in, and it's going to be right in front of Velasquez, and it wasn't hit deep enough to advance any further than second base by Parker. So first and second, and all this happening with 2 down. And now Garrett Brewer up. He struck out with the bases loaded. Back in the first, got a chance to redeem himself right now. And like I said, when you're down 10 and playing a lot of misplays defensively and stuff, you kind of got to start building blocks here and rebuild yourself. Get some runs this inning. And that's going to be foul. Getting kept the weight back on that change of pace pitch. As the lefties featured a fastball, but he's mixed it up nicely with the breaking stuff and the changeup out there. As Savage in his 3rd inning of work here for Brattleboro post 5. So Brewer with an 0-1 count on him. And 2 on, 2 out. Good location. Fastball at the knee, and Brewer couldn't quite catch up to it. I'll go to 0-2. And going to have a conference. This is interesting. That's his father, the third base coach. And they're going to have a little chat. And they've been working a lot of hours together after practice on the art of hitting. And they're having a chat right now. And what I wouldn't give to have a microphone in that. So with an 0-2 count, could be just a matter of what they anticipate the pitcher's throwing here. And Savage has been quite crafty out there when he gets up in the count. Just tried to go the good old-fashioned high fastball and went up and out of the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 12-2 Brattleboro in game 2 of a doubleheader from St. Peter's Field on Channel 15 Sports. And boy, just got a piece of it. Fouled it off and stayed alive. Good job with 2 strikes by Brewer, and he'll get set for another pitch here. If Brewer does extend the inning, it'll be Joe Trono on deck for post 31 in their red, white, and blue uniforms. Brattleboro out there in those burgundy-ish, maroonish color. See, I'm colorblind, so I can't really tell. I know it's not their customary purple they used to wear. Good job of holding up. That was enticing, but that was pretty good discipline right there by Brewer, and he'll make it a 2-2 count. That's a nasty pitch to lay off from. That actually looked like the slider. from the stretch. He'll work it to a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Again, he cruised through the first 2 hitters. He got a fly out to center field and then a little comebacker to the pitcher. He threw over to first base and he had 2 down and then 2 singles back to back, and now he's at a 3-2 count with Garrett Brewer. And he'll get him second time this afternoon. He'll strike Brewer out with people in scoring position, and we'll stay at 12-2 Brattleboro as we go to the 4th inning from St. Peter's Field. When we go to the 4th, we're going to have the catcher Nate Boudreau up. He has walked and scored and doubled and scored and driven in a couple of runs, and he's going to be followed by Corey Chamberlain. Then top of the order, Dave Velasquez coming up against Mill River's Chad Ryan. Now, Chad's going to be a senior this year at Mill River, and his next stop of tour duty will be on the football field, where he'll be one of the prime targets. He's the receiver and a lot of speed out there, and Coach Casarino's got big plans for him this year down at Mill River football. That's going to just swung through and miss. Nice pitch. Chad Ryan's job right now is to keep the damage where it is at 10 runs, 12-2, and hope they can just chip away at Jeff Savage and get some runs back here. As it is right now, they're just 2 innings, 6 batters away from being mercy ruled on their home field in a league game. That was a good pitch right there. Caught the inside corner, and 1-2 the count. So Ryan, who started out in right field, will get a pop-up, and it's going to be out of play over the cage, the fenced area behind home base. You can see everybody with a good jog at it and take a look at it, but he'll stay at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trono, Dorian, and Holtman in the outfield. LaPlaca behind the plate. Ryan on the mound. First base is Brewer. Second base is Parker. Shortstop Sharon, and third base is McLaughlin. At the plate is Boudreau, Nate Boudreau. And that's going to be another foul ball, making them throw some good pitches here and keep spoiling on them. Website for PEGTV is easy to remember. It's www.pegtv.com, located in Building 24 at the House Center. And they have a phone number of 747-0151. That's 3 good ways to get in touch with them. Internet them, call them, or go see them in person. And that looks to be playable and goes by Ryan, and oh, it's going to be a tough play. That looked to be harmless at first. Ends up being an infield hit, as it got just out of the reach of Ryan, and nobody went. He had to change direction to go cover the bag. So a leadoff infield single. And Chamberlain up. He's walked and scored and then struck out in the 3rd. We're in the 4th, and Rutland trying to dig themselves out of a big hole here, as they're down 10, 12-2. And now Ryan from the stretch. He has a decent move to first base. And that right there over the plate for a strike. Like I said, the on-deck hitter will be the top of the order. Dave Velasquez up next. And he is got a lot of speed, and he's in royal pain when he gets up there. And he had 2 bunt singles in the first game and a double. So this is going to start cycling in the top of the order again after Chamberlain right here. And that sun at this point of the afternoon is pretty bad for the third baseman, shortstop, and the left fielder, Trono. This is the doubleheader started at noon. We're in the second part of the doubleheader, and I know we're tape delayed, but we're at 3:43 in the afternoon. And that's fouled off. It'll be a 1-2 count. And boy, I tell you, the local people just leaving the field. And nice pitch. One fastball, got it by him, and that'll become the first out. As Chamberlain strikes out his last 2 at bats, and now Velasquez up. He's grounded out to Jeff McLaughlin at third, reached on an error and got hit by a pitch and scored. And again, you got to remember, they do have McLaughlin coming in at the corner at third base. And that's a strike. He showed no intentions right there, Bunny, but that doesn't mean anything. And LaPlaca coming out to talk to Ryan might have been a cross-up on what he expected for a pitch and what he actually threw, but and when as a catcher, you really want to know what's coming at you. It's what the little chat could be about. Well, at the end of 1 inning, it was 2-1 Rutland, and things looked hopeful, promising, and then That 4-run second and 7-run third really kind of had the bottom drop out on post 31. And now they're just looking up a hill. Again, Chad Ryan on the mound just wants to keep things where they're at. And that's going to be over Ryan's glove to second. They'll get the lead runner and the throw to first. They doubled them up. Didn't think it was possible. A double play, third of the afternoon for Rutland. That will end the inning, and they'll come to bat in the bottom of the fourth, down 10. Savage is going to be looking at Joe Trundle, the number 9 hitter, on top of the order with Rob Dorian and Matt Sharon. And if they get to a fourth hitter, it'll be McLaughlin. In the top half of this inning, Brattleboro has held scoreless for the first time this afternoon as Chad Ryan able to get out of a mini jam right there. Other than that, they'd scored 1, 4, and 7. And Trundle need to get something started here. That'll be a ball, and that'll be in the dirt and scooped up by the catcher, Boudreaux, behind the plate. Trundle grounded out to the shortstop, his only at bat. That was Martell that made the play. And Trundle chopping away at that high pitch will follow it up of a 1-1 count. And Rutland wouldn't be in bad shape if they split here after sweeping Chester yesterday. Like I said, they take the 4 top teams from Southern Vermont and the 4 from Northern Vermont. And they play in a Southern-Northern tournament, and then whoever survives that plays each other for the championship. And boy, I had some nice dipping action on it right there. That'll be a swinging strike 2. So really, you want to do the best you can, play your best, win as many games, but you want to make the playoffs. So a split here would, winning 2 yesterday at Chester in the first game here, and he'll go down on strikes on that tailing away fastball thrown with across the seams. And he's got 3 strikeouts now in the ball game. Savage does. Top of the order, Dorian up. He is singled and grounded out to second base. Emerson got him at second. I was about to say, though, with the 3 wins in a row, 2 over Chester and 1 over Brattleboro, and that could be playable. Vasquez, yeah, he's quick. He got to it and made the catch. So there's 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. So a long fly ball out. And Matt Sharon up. He's reached on a fielder's choice, scored in the first, and then had a single in the second. See, Savage doing just what you want a guy with a 12-2 lead to do. Getting ahead in the count, throwing the ball, so if it's hit, it can just have a chance for his defense to make a play and just kind of cruising toward that 5th inning. Again, since Rutland is the home team, and they're down by 10, if they go through the bottom of the 5th and they finish the 5th inning and they're still down 10, that's the game. It's the mercy rule. And like I said at the beginning of this contest, I didn't think it'd be possible with the quality of both these teams, but after an 8-6 first game win in this doubleheader, Rutland came out very flat, didn't execute, made a lot of errors and mistakes, walks and errors, and it did them in. And it'll be 2 balls, 1 strike on that pitch that was low in the dirt. And Matt Sharon, starting both games at shortstop today, has been part of 3 double plays made by post 31 defensively. You see Franklin being called off, and oh, what a catch. Taken over by Emerson, Jordan Emerson. Well, in the inning, and post 31 will come defensively out in the field in the 5th, down 12-2. You see Chad Ryan finishing his warm-ups. We have some changes out there defensively. Mike Sorelli's gone and played third base for post 31 after yesterday down in Chester. He got to pitch some, I think it was 5 innings of good baseballs, giving up 6 hits. Pat Guyette's gone in to play second base, replacing Chris Parker. Sean McGuire is in left field. And Dorian remains in center, and Holtman remains in right. LaPlaca stays behind the dish. And that's going to be over the top of Chad Ryan. He'll be down to Guyette. He'll get his footing, flip to first, and get the out. So they'll get the leadoff batter this time here in the 5th, which was Will Franklin. Now Scooter Scott up. Scooter Scott started this afternoon off by flying out to right field twice and then hit a grand slam home run well over the left field wall onto St. Joseph Avenue in that big 7-run 3rd inning. That's right on the corner for a strike. Ryan's done a nice job since coming in to relieve Equistapace here on the mound. Defensively, Garrett Brewer remains at first base. We already mentioned Guyette's at second. Matt Sharon remains at short. And, of course, we've already mentioned Sorelli's gone in to play third. That's going to be a foul ball strike. And we're at the top of the fifth. And with that 10-run lead, if it remains 10 runs at the end of the fifth inning, that's the ball game. It'll be a mercy rule. After Rutland coming off that 8-6 win in the first game behind the defense was solid. The pitching was very good from Rob Turner. And some timely hits. That's got a chance, and oh, nice job. Sharon from behind second base will go to first. There's that range by Matt Sharon at shortstop. And it didn't hurt that the ball took a pretty big choppy hop there to slow it down so he could get to it. So 2 down now, and that will bring up Jeff Savage, the pitcher. Savage today had a single back in the 3rd inning. Other than that, he is 1 for 3. And oh boy, just nicked the outside corner on quite a lollipop of a curveball. It'll be an 0-1 count now. Chad Ryan will miss the fastball high and away. We'll even things up now at 1 ball, 1 strike. So McGuire, Dorian, Holtman staying out in the outfield for post 31. And again, they just came out flat and didn't execute, and that's a solid single up the middle. He'll be picked up by Rob Dorian. You see the ball come to him. Hot potato, he'll pick it up, and there'll be a runner on first with 2 down here in the top of the 5th. That was no doubt about it. That was a solid shot up the middle. Now Wagner up. He's grounded out to Chris Parker at second base. That was in the 2nd inning. Then in the 3rd inning, he had a single and scored and also walked. That was all in the 3rd inning. And Pat Guyette has got it, and Rutland needing at least 1 run to keep this game going, coming up to the plate in the bottom of the 5th, down 10 at 12-2. Now earlier in the season against Granville in a non-league game, 2nd meeting between 2 teams here, Post 31 got mercy ruled in that game, so they're in danger here in the Southern Vermont League game of having that happen to him here at St. Peter's Field. Mike Sorelli up for the first time this afternoon. We'll be swinging on that first pitch from the lefty Jeff Savage. Falls it off, strike 1. I'll have to wait. Looks like it will be LaPlaca coming up on the on-deck circle. Sorelli came in to replace McLaughlin at 3rd base last inning. Will hit in his spot right here. So Sorelli, a very good baseball player. We've seen him pitch some wonderful innings this year. He's solid whether he's at 3rd, short, wherever we want to plug him in. And knows the strike zone, makes good contact with the ball. And he's just looking to get on base, and they're looking to chip away. They need 1 run to extend the game to another inning. And he'll lay off that high fastball. Good execution right there of not being sucked into that rise ball. It was 2-1 Rutland at the end of the 1st inning, and then boy, oh boy. Good pitch right at the knee, called a strike. That'll make it a 2-2 count. 4 runs in the 2nd by Brattleboro and 7 in the 3rd. Put us at 10 or a 10-run deficit at 12-2. And again, there's that. They check and they say no, he didn't swing. Nice job of holding up. That's a good place to throw that 2-2 count. Now goes to a 3-2 count to Sorelli. If Sorelli can get on base, he's got decent speed down there at first, but you got to get there first. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. That was a good pitch, fouled off by Sorelli. He'll stay alive now with a 3-2 count still. Like I said, post 31 with the league game left. They have Woodstock left and Windsor. They already defeated Windsor once. And again, good pitch, good fall off with 2 strikes, staying alive. And a non-league game that we'll have here for you on the 25th against South Royalton. And then it's hopefully off to the playoffs for him. And a little check swing foul. And that's 3 foul balls in a row now by Sorelli. So we'll stay at 3-2 to the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 5th for post 31. And Savage started the game, still out there for Brattleboro post 5. And another foul ball. So a little battle here, a little duel ensuing between Sorelli and Savage on this very warm and muggy afternoon here at St. Peter's Field. Now, I can't talk about the lack of a crowd anymore because there's no crowd. I want to show you something. That's the bleachers. I mean, come on, guys. Let's get out here and show some support for this team. Still watching on Channel 15, but I'd like to be able to one day pan the bleachers and have them half full for the baseball game. And yeah, it's going to be foul ball. Great effort by Franklin, who's been dynamite over there at first base today. And also with the bat, he's had a big doubleheader. Even in the 8-6 loss, he was hitting the ball well. And yet, I lost track. That's, I think, 6 or 7 fouls in a row here by Mike Sorelli. Again, Rutland needs at least 1 run to get it to the 6th inning. And Savage has been throwing good pitches here. And that could be a gapper. That's going to be in the gap and rolls to the wall. And that's going to be at least a double for Sorelli. And he's going to pull up with a leadoff double. Nobody out. And Mike Sorelli fighting off all those good pitches. What a great at bat by Sorelli. I believe that was 6 or 7 foul balls in a row. And then he got that double in the left center field gap. And I was waiting to see what he went down and handed Coach George Bennett something. Sorelli did. Now he'll head back to second base, and LaPlaca up. He had a double back in the first inning. Then he flied out to center field. But again, they need to bring a run in here to keep working on this deficit. So Savage, with that runner at second base, gives him a good look, and then comes to the plate, and LaPlaca put it on a rope, and going to be a base hit, and they're going to send Sorelli. He'll come in probably without the throw, and there's the run that will keep the game going. And LaPlaca with yet another clutch RBI here will make it 12-3. Don't forget, no lead is insurmountable, but you got to start a comeback, and better now than ever. And John Holtman up. Got a runner at first. And nobody down. 1 run in here, making it 12-3. And a good block behind the plate by the catcher, Boudreau. Nate Boudreau able to close up the 5-hole and stop the ball from getting by him. And LaPlaca not going to, he's being held on, but he is really, I don't ever think you'll see him sent to second base on a steal in this situation. And whoa. Called a strike. Holtman looked like he was starting to show bunt. And that seemed a little high and outside, but he might have not pulled the bat back in time. I'm not sure, but it goes to a 1-1 count. That was decent. That had some nasty bend to it. So 1-2 count. See if he can make contact, stay alive, or get a base hit here for post 31. And boy, pulled the trigger on it the last second, followed right out the end of the bat down the third baseline. Again, that was looking like a good pitch and a nice job by Holtman with those 2 strikes to get a piece of the ball. So Sorelli started this inning off with a double. LaPlaca came up with a single, 1 run across the plate, and now Holtman up there. So you know we're playing at least 6 now. And again, that's 2 fouls in a row on what could be strikes. With 2 strikes on them, that's what your job is. He'll step back in, lefty against lefty. Left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter. It's the only left-handed hitter in the Rutland lineup, or roster for that matter. And good eye. Didn't offer at that. It came in, and now we'll run it to a 2-2 count. And that LaPlaca still down at first base, being held on by Will Franklin of Bennington, post 5. That's going to be tailor-made double play. There's one, tagged the bag, and came off the bag, goes out of play. That will send the runner down to second base, Holtman. They do get the lead runner, LaPlaca, out. And on the throw back to first, it was wide and low, and it's short hop out into the bushes, and that will bring the coach out to chat with Jeff Savage. Now, And actually, he's nice coming out to talk to the umpire. And I gotta be honest, I didn't see anything that was controversial or questioning on that play. Unless they're calling the runner sliding out of the baseline into the throw from second to first, and even that would be quite the stretch of an imagination. Well, they talked it over and decided no harm, nothing done, so. Pat Guyette coming up now. So 1 out, and the runner at second base is John Holtman. Good speed at second, good speed at the plate. And that's going to be blocked by Boudreau. Good job by the catcher. Holtman will stay at second, unable to advance to third. This is Guyette's first at-bat this afternoon. Defensively, he was plugged into second base in the last inning. And there's that curveball that's worked so well. Drops right in here and called a strike. 1-1 is the count. 12-3 is the score. Brattleboro with the lead. In case you missed it, Rutland winning the first game this afternoon, 8-6. And Guyette's going to have a base hit. You see it drop in. And Holtman will be held up at third base, so there'll be a first and third situation now for Rutland. And Guyette over at first. Nice piece of hitting right there by Pat Guyette. And Chad Ryan will step in, and a chance to keep working that lead down. Chad Ryan's pitched 2 scoreless innings in a row for post 31, the 4th and the 5th. Don't forget now, this is the left-handed pitcher looking right over at first base. Made the throw over, and it wasn't close, it was okay. Is Guyette able to get back ahead of the throw? Again, he's only 4 or 5 steps tops off the bag at first. And that's going to be through the hole. Another run will come in. You see the run in the background. Holtman scoring, and then Guyette stopping at second. And I'll make it 12-4 now. It's Chad Ryan with 3 base hits today. Now Garrett Brewer up. He has struck out in the first and struck out in the third. Each time he had runners in scoring position. He's in the same deal here with Guyette down at second. Actually, if you hit it out of the park, then the guy at first is in scoring position. Decent speed on the bases. That pitch came in high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 12-4. They're able to get it below 10, which means we'll play the 6, which means this isn't over yet. The inning here isn't even over yet. They could do more damage if Brewer can get a hold of one and send it out on St. Joseph's Avenue. Now, when the coach for Brattleboro came out to talk to the umpire, he never approached the pitcher, so I don't believe that counts as a trip to the mound here. This inning, oh, a very generous strike. And yeah, you would need a pitching wedge to hit that one off the ground. And I brought what few people are here, some oohs and ahs from the Rutland side. 2 balls, 1 strike. And Brewer fought that off, and that's going to drop in. There's a, right off the fist and in. And Guyette's going to come in to score, and at third base. And nice running by Garrett Brewer on the trail into that. You see him sneak into second base, and all of a sudden it's 12-5. Guyette scores. And Ryan went to third. And I'll bring up, I need who's coming up in this inning, and we'll see if there's going to be a pitching change now. Yep, they take the ball. We'll get the stats and a new name, and we'll come back after the fade. Corey Chamberlain is coming in on relief here of Jeff Savage. They just switched positions. Chamberlain came in from the outfield, and Savage went out and took his spot in right field. And seen Chamberlain pitch before and got good stuff. Post 31 though with a chance to do more damage. Sean McGuire at the plate, hitting in Joe Trono's spots. 12-5. Rutland trailing by 7 right now, but they have a couple runners on. 1 at second, 1 at third, and only 1 down, and that'll be high and out of the strike zone. And I'll tell you what, sparse crowds here is pretty fired up. Good to hear them. So Rutland trying to come back from a 10-run deficit. And that's when we fall down the first baseline into the tree line by Otter Creek and out of play. Again, Rutland behind Rob Turner's gutsy performance in the first game with an 8-6 win. And they're holding up play, and I'm not really sure for what. They're going to have a little meeting between the catcher, Boudreaux. Nate Boudreaux's going to come out and talk to Corey Chamberlain. Could be a sign thing or whatever, but they'll get on the same page now. That's Brewer down at second base. And Chad Ryan is at third for post 31. They're at the plate in their red, white, and blue uniforms, taking on Brattleboro post 5. And from the stretch, Chamberlain. And that's going to be to the backstop, and oh boy, they're going to have a play at the plate. They got him. Yeah, he broke clean. He's a fast guy, but it's not a new backstop anymore. Remember the old wooden one they had? It was 15 feet deeper back, so this one is a concrete retaining wall with that artificial grass on it. And when the ball hits this, first of all, it's closer, and a lot of times that concrete, the ball will come right back to the catcher, as you saw right there, and that's a big out. That makes 2 outs. Brewer did move up to second base, and now McGuire trying to keep this rally going here in the 5th. And they're going to have a time call. And there was no Ryan just broke clean. It wasn't like he could get in a pickle. He had one direction he was going, and he just tried his best, and they got him out at the plate relatively easy. He could have been like Pete Rose in the All-Star game running into Ray Fosse, knocking him clean, but they do have to move on to the college level. So here we go, 12-5, 3-2 the count, 2 down, Rutland. Sean McGuire at the plate. Oh, painted the outside corner that'll end the rally, but they did score enough to play another inning. We'll go to the top of the 6th with Brattleboro up by 7. Gordon Emerson will be looking at Chad Ryan stuff on the mound. And big thing right now, again, don't give back the 3 runs you just got. Chad Ryan's pitched 2 scoreless innings in relief of Zach Aquistapace. He'll miss high and outside with that pitch. But yeah, I mean, you're chipping away. You need those defensive stops we talked about. Right here's another spot for him this inning. You're in the 6th. You get 3-4 more runs in the bottom of the 6th. Give yourself a realistic chance, if you can get to the 7th, to come to the plate with a possibility of winning the thing, rallying to win it. 1-1 to count on that strike called. And Chad Ryan has been a good pickup for the Rutland Post 31 squad. He didn't play here last year because he's very versatile. I mean, they've used him in the outfield, on the mound, and he's got 3 hits today. In the second game, he's got 3 singles. So Emerson, Martell, and Boudreaux do up here for Brattleboro Post 5. Looking to get a split with Rutland today. And that's going to be a base hit. Holtman will race over and cut it off so it stays a single. Trying to pick it up. There he goes. So they'll have the leadoff hitter on here in the 6th. Now Martell's got 2 singles, has scored 2 runs, and has driven in a couple. And boy, that was fouled. We're out to catch your Laplaca's face mask. He's okay. He'll pick up the ball. Those catchers nowadays are pretty padded up. Not like the old days with the real small, thin equipment. They pretty safe. Hard work though in this hot temperature to have all that gear on, crouching down in the dust, and batters spitting all over the batter's box at you. And that's going to be at least 1. He'll touch the bag, throw it a second, and nice job of knocking the ball down. They got the 1 out, which they needed, the definite out. So there'll be 1 out, and a runner at second base is Ryan, back to the rubber on the mound. And Nate Boudreaux up. He's walked, doubled, and singled. So he's been on base 3 times today. He's been a problem here in the second game for Post 31. And he went right after the first pitch, and Dorian making a big call. Oh, nice communications by Robbie. He called off Guyette and everybody else, and boy, I tell you, he is just so solid out there in the outfield. And then by getting those 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th, Post 31's got a little more enthusiasm out there defensively now. And Corey Chamberlain up. He's walked and scored in the 2nd, and he struck out in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th. He's a lefty, and he's up there. He's now the pitcher for Post 5, Brattleboro, trying to get the job done for the starting pitcher, Jeff Savage. And that's a great pitch by Ryan. Great pitch. And again, we're at the top of the 6th, 12-5 Brattleboro. Oh, I'm sure these guys will meet each other again in the playoffs. Oh, just bottom dropped out on it. Swinging strike, 0-2. That's a tough pitch to throw to the left-handed hitter. So we'll see what Chad Ryan comes up with here on an 0-2 count. And that's a solid shot. Yeah, going to be a base hit. See Dorian come in and pick it up. There goes the throw home. There's the runner scoring. They'll throw down to 2nd, and they got him by a mile. Got him. Run counts, so they'll pick up a run. Nice job by LaPlaca. And everybody commuting that to him to get the runner at 2nd. Post 31 should be top of the order. And that's where we are. Top of the order in the bottom of the 6th, 13-5. Brattleboro up by 8. They had a 10-2 lead at one point, and Rutland able to pick some runs up in the 5th to get this thing past the mercy rule limit. And Dorian against Corey Chamberlain. Chamberlain came on last inning to relieve Jeff Savage. And Chamberlain did a nice job in relief. Came on with some runners on, and that just missed. Getting a nice turnover on the ball. Makes it a 1-1 count. First game, 8-6. Rutland with the win. Rob Turner, blood and guts performance. Didn't have his best stuff, but able to get it done. That'll be too far outside. And Dorian got a good eye for the strike zone anyways. He's had a big afternoon between the 2 games. Like I said, he's had 4 base hits between the 2 games. Unofficially. My book's unofficial. And right now, Chamberlain in danger of putting the leadoff batter on via the walk. Is it 3 balls, 1 strike? On a sun-baked field. Oh, it's a hot one. Right down the pipe. Full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. With the on-deck hitter being Matt Sharon, and then Mike Sorelli due up. Big pitch here, because the leadoff hitter is good last second swing. Could have been a strike, could have not been a strike. It was too close, let it go by with 2 strikes on him. Dorian able to get a piece of it and stay alive here and maybe get a pitch he likes to drive. Nice job by Robbie. And Corey Chamberlain with that full windup. Got him. Nice pitch. Got him with a fastball, and yeah, that changes the whole complexion of an inning usually if you can get that leadoff batter out. Matt Sharon has reached on a fielder's choice and scored. He singled in the 2nd, and then he flied out to the 2nd baseman, Emerson, Jordan Emerson. Well, they got to make something happen here. And that's great play by Emerson. And got him. Oh, what a big-time play by Emerson. Holy crap, that was nice. Behind the bag at 2nd on the backhand stop, and boy, you see something like that, you got to really appreciate it, but then you also got to realize Post 31, some days just aren't going to be your day. Mike Sorelli up. He first at bat was in the 5th. He doubled and scored. Well, 2 outs or not, you need base runners, and he'll try here with Sorelli, get things pumped up. He could not hold up on that nasty looking pitch, and it'll be strike 1. I think it would have been a strike anyways, but he did come across and break the plane of the plate and makes it an 0-1 count. I tell you, Rutland's showing a lot of character. There's swinging strike 2. They brought in guys who hadn't started this ball game in at reserve positions, and those guys came up with some big hits and some big gloves here and extended this thing so we can go past the 5th. And LaPlaca is the on-deck hitter, and Sorelli will lay out that high fastball. And that was With an 0-2 count, that wasn't a bad choice of pitches right there. He'll settle back in now. Again, those 2 strikes. Remember his last at bat, he had 6 or 7 foul balls with 2 strikes. He kept fouling them off, and then got the double. And this one he jacked up in the air. This is straight up. Shortstop Martell will make the catch, and that was a quick inning. We'll go to the 7th. 13-5 Brattleboro.
Number 16, the left fielder, Jacob Smith.
Chad Ryan's allowed 1 run in a little over 3 innings of work, and he's looking at Jacob Smith, who's in the leadoff spot. Now Dave Valquez has been seated, and that's going to be a strike. So Brattleboro just 3 outs away from getting a split on the road, and it's not the end of the world for post 31. I didn't, a lot of dejected faces out there during the in-between innings toss around when they change positions. That will just miss a little bit high and make it a 1-1 count. No, I mean, they tried their best, and give post 5 a lot of credit, even though this thing isn't over yet. But the split, again, they have 3. If it holds up and Brattleboro wins this game, game 2 with the doubleheader, nice pitch. Rutland will have just 3 league losses, so they'll be in good shape still as far as one of the 4 teams that make the Southern Vermont playoffs, and also for the one of the top positions, which we've seen over the years. Really hasn't worked out for a lot of the 1 and 2 seeds. And that, you can call that one. That was a ball. There's some hot, tired, fatigued guys out there. Now, I think the players have to be here an hour to an hour and a half before game time. And this is a noon start, so let's say 10:30. And it is 4:30 right now. This has been a long, hot day for these guys. And they did win the first game 8-6. Brattleboro had the bases loaded in the 7th, but Rob Turner able to get out of it. Oh, nice pitch. Got the strikeout. Again, Chad Ryan's looked very good out there on the mound in relief of Zach Acquistapace. And it should be Will Franklin up, but they made a lot of changes. And I have to wait to see if they're plugging these defensive changes in. Yeah, no, it's going to be Will Franklin. Will Franklin up. Okay. With 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the 7th. There was, at the beginning of the game, I doubted ever the mercy rule between these 2 teams. And then when it got to be 12-2 and things looked disastrous for post 31, I didn't think we'd ever get to the 7th, and here we are in the 7th. And the Placa going out and having a very brief discussion with Chad Ryan. As it's McGuire, Dorian, and Holtman in that outfield still. Brewer's at first. Galletta's at second. Sharon's at short. And Sorelli is at third, where I mentioned LaPlaca's behind the plate. Nice pitch. Boy, he just bent that off. He had to be a geometry major to figure that pitch out. So Will Franklin, like I said, he had a big first game, and he's had a big second game. The undoing really was a 7-run 3rd inning by Brattleboro. You know, they had a 1-run first, a 4-run second. It was that 7-run 3rd. Just misexecution all the way around. Oh, great pitch. Well, I don't know what that was. That thing made an S by the time it got to the plate. So with a 1-2 count and 1 down and nobody on, Chad Ryan trying to make this an easy ride on top of the 7th. That's going to be to third base. Sorelli will look for it, find it, and just did beat it out. Franklin almost got nailed because he kind of let up on the ground ball thinking it was going to be played. So that'll be an error unofficially on Sorelli. And now Scooter Scott. He's 1 for 4 today, but it's a big one. It was a grand slam home run over the left field wall, well onto St. Joseph's Avenue in the 3rd inning. So he's had a unique day. He was a losing pitcher in the first game, working himself in and out of trouble for 6 innings. And then he comes back here in the second game as a center fielder and hits a grand slam home run. He's known both ends of the spectrum motion. This could be a double play. To Sharon. The second to Guyette, the first, and I believe he beat it out, yeah. If they would have turned that, that would have been the 4th double play of the afternoon. They had 2 in the first game, 1 here in the second. So Scooter Scott is on via the fielder's choice, and Jeff Savage up. Jeff Savage is the pitcher of record for this ball game. He can only win the contest. He left with a 8-run lead. And that will get the corner, they say, and be a strike. There are 2 down and a runner at first base being held on by Jeff Brewer, or Garrett Brewer, excuse me. And Chad Ryan from the stretch. He seems to pitch well from the stretch or the full windup. Doesn't seem to affect him. That's a ball, obviously. That was in the dirt and scooped up by LaPlaca. Franklin, obviously, you can tell he's or Savage, I'm sorry, is a left-handed hitter. And they really don't have that big a shift on for him. Dorian basically in center field's lined right up behind home base. And Brewer's got time. He's got time. He'll throw and got it. So Rutland, needing 8 to get this thing tied up, will come to the plate down 13-5 in the bottom of the 7th. Corey Chamberlain's going to be looking at Anthony LaPlaca, John Holtman, and then Pat Guyette due up. LaPlaca is 2 for 3 today. He's got a double and a single with a fly out to center field sandwiched around there. And boy, if it's ever important to get the leadoff runner on now, batter on now, it is right here in the bottom of the 7th, needing 8 runs. Missed high, and it'll be called a ball. 1 ball, no strike count. No changes defensively. We stay where we were at in the 6th here for the 7th for Brattleboro. They're out in the field in those burgundy or maroon uniforms. And LaPlaca like that. A rip at it, follow it straight back, and we'll have a 1-1 count. And I'll tell you what, both coaches done a nice job today. It's tough. You figure it's 5, 6, 7 hour day in the heat with these young kids or young people. He'll back away from that, and then it'll be a ball. Good eye right there by LaPlaca. A lot of heat on the ball from Chamberlain. He'll go to 2 balls, 1 strike. From the full windup, LaPlaca will go through the hole. Another base hit for LaPlaca. And there he is. I'll tell you what, he is just seeing everything and hitting everything and doing a nice job. Now John Holtman up. That's 3 hits in this 2nd game for LaPlaca. He was a DH in the 1st game and was able to make good contact and get base hits. And now Holtman from the left side will take a ball low and outside. Well, objective number 1 has been met. They got the leadoff batter on. Now they need 8 runs. Actually 9, so the game would be over and we wouldn't go to any extra innings. Oh, great pitch. Especially to the lefty. And it's tailing away from him with a little height on it and some heat on it, and he couldn't catch up to it. It makes it a 1-1 count. And a long look in, and Corey Chamberlain going to be up in the count now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, good location, that high and cutting away fastball. We'll see what he elects to come back with here. John Holtman. Holtman scored back in the 5th. He didn't come on until that point. He hadn't hit in the game prior to that in the 2nd game. And they tried to go a little backdoor curveball there, and it stayed too far outside. Never really came in the backdoor, and it goes to a 2-2 count. Post 31 had a 2-1 lead at the end of the 1st inning. And then fell behind 4-2, 12-2. Made a little run in the 5th. And I don't think they're going to have a chance. No, it's going to make River Street and be out of play. We'll pretty much stay where we were at with a 2-2 count. And by the end of 5, it was 12-5, and post 31 had done enough damage to keep the game moving forward and didn't get mercy ruled. And then Chad Ryan's pitched a little over 3 innings of relief, so only giving up 1 run. He's done a real nice job out there on the mound. And that's going to be foul. See Tony Sorelli over there at first base making a nice play. George Bennett, usually the coach at first base this year, must have petered out with the heat. So Holtman following off some good pitches here. And Chamberlain should have a lot of energy left. That's got a chance to drop in. And it will drop in. Scooter Scott will back up Smith, and he'll get the ball, and so back to back. Oh, a nice piece of running right there. Oh, that's good running. LaPlaca went ahead and advanced to third base. They caught him off guard, and Holtman on the trail came up to second. Nice job. Puts both runners in scoring position with nobody down. And takes away the old-fashioned double play. Guyette, he had a single and scored in his only plate appearance, was back in the fifth. So Rutland trying to make some noise here in the bottom of the seventh. Oh, that's right off the fist. And he'll be caught. Foul territory, he's out. Right off the fist. Great pitch, just jammed it in on him. That's big too, because runners are second, third, nobody down, and they couldn't advance the runners on a deep enough fly ball or a slow enough hit grounder. Chad Ryan up, he is 3 for 3 in his second game. He has 3 singles. And then remember, he got thrown out at home base on the pass ball. That's definitely going to get the run in and going to be foul. So everybody will go back. No run at all. Those high, hard choppers, very characteristic of the ball action this afternoon. That field out there, sun-baked. It's like a tennis court. Yeah, Chad Ryan with a 3 for 3 afternoon. Would love to make it 4 for 4. Well, yeah. Put some pressure on Brattleboro post 5. Chad's, again, one of those players, just fits right in chemistry-wise, really nice. Oh, great pitch. Makes it 0-2 the count. No, he mixes well personality-wise with everybody, and again, very versatile player. And good with the bat. Laid off that high one. And that's a good pitch to throw with that 0-2 count, but it'll go to 1 ball, 2 strikes. And what few people are here. Chad Ryan must have a fan club there. They're getting a lot of Chad Ryan calls. Oh, great pitch. Just nasty stuff. That'll be the second out. And Garrett Brewer up. He struck out twice and singled. He's had a 1 for 3 afternoon. No, they're going to bring in a pinch hitter. Pamacala coming in for Brewer. And he liked that first pitch, and that's going to be foul. Will Franklin couldn't quite get to it. There's a big windup on a swing for a little number down the first baseline. Pamacala taking quite a ribbing from his own dugout. In a humorous way, not in a vicious way. So Rutland down to their last out here. And strike called right there at the knee on the breaking ball. And we'll have an 0-2 count to Pamacala. Pamacala got the win down in Chester yesterday in that game that was called because of darkness, a continuation of that. And then he pitched well into the second game, and that's going to be high for a ball. Good eye by Pamacala. Rutland down 8. Looking a little bleak right now in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs and 2 on. They had the first 2 runners get on and then couldn't advance them. And boy, is that going to get it done? No, he's going to have it picked up, and Brattleboro will come to Rutland and gain a split. They'll win the second game 13-5. Congratulations to Post 5 from Brattleboro. And a good job all the way around by Post 31. They got the split. They never gave up here in the second game. Get out there, support Legion Baseball, support Public Access Television, and I always support Munger Vision. God bless America.